I'm so excited. I'm finally going to be putting together the GreenStalk garden right here. What I have here is the 5-tier original vertical planter. This one would allow me to plant up to 30 plants, all just in this 4 square space. I got one growing on the leaf version over there. This setup is going to allow me to grow the most amount of food in the tiniest space. I'm going to be growing sweet potatoes and strawberries. So join me as I set this up, and I'll show you how I mix the soil to grow in this planter. Let's get started. GreenStalk Garden sent me the leaf planter last year. I loved it so much I ended up picking a couple more myself when there was a sale. This is one of them that I got, and I'm so excited I finally made the space to put this up. You guys, literally after I put this terracotta planter together, GreenStalk just dropped the news that they are having a clearance on this color. So if you're interested, take advantage of this sale while supplies last and use my code for savings. I'll put the link below. Clips that I'm showing you now is how the planter looks right now, about a week and a half since planting. Now let's get back to the video. And for the base, I'm going to be using this ultimate spinner, which would allow me to spin my planter, which is really important in this narrow garden. And then there's going to be wheels I can add onto here. Here's something really cool. This is a drain hole. I can plug this tube in and let the water drain out. You don't have to get the base, but this is absolutely important for my narrow space. Okay, you just put some soil in here. Got some mixture of soil in here, but I'm gonna fill this up some more. For the soil, I'll be using, this is SD Microbes Biovast Living Soil. It's all natural and organic. This is one of their latest products. I'm really excited to use this for the GreenStalk, and I'll share with you guys the updates on how the plants do with this. SD Microbes put out some really quality products, and I particularly love their, what is it? Biovast Vermicompost. I sprinkle a little bit of this into my planting. You guys will see how I'll do it later. Let's see, what's really cool and exciting about this all natural and organic potting soil is that, let's see. Okay, ingredients: cocoa coir, Biovast Vermicompost, rice hulls, pumice, alfalfa meal, feather meal. I love that they use sustainable ingredients. So this bag is all ready for you to use indoor or outdoor, for topping off your beds, for container gardening. This has the, the macro and the micronutrients available for your plants to use. This have also been tested for heavy metals. This is actually Albert Mineral Balance. Look how beautiful this is. This is all ready to go, but all the soil's out there. I still like to add a little more drainage. This is especially because I'm using it for growing sweet potatoes. I'm gonna add some vermiculite. It's a little dusty. Either don't breathe this in or wet it. Let me just add some of this garden tone fertilizer in. Okay, maybe that's enough. Okay, just mix this up. Okay, just gonna add some perlite in here. And I didn't bring the perlite bag to show you because the whole bag got wet and it's really heavy. Sweet potatoes like really well draining soil. If you were to grow that in the ground, I would say add some sand in it. But since I'm growing in a container, I'm gonna do it in a much more light version of this, which is using vermiculite and perlite. I wanna fill this all the way up to just slightly below the top. This is a PVC cap. I like to just leave it on here to cover the hole. I don't want any soil to, drop in there. This is totally optional, by the way. I'm really late to planting sweet potatoes, but Southern California with gloomy June and all that really feels like the warm weather had just arrived. So we're almost like 2 to 3 months behind, especially me. Loosen it up a little bit. I'm feeling tiny little sweet potatoes growing already. Let's see, let me set this on mist actually. get this wet. This is a really just optional step, but I like to add mycorrhizae onto this Biovast Vermicompost. Either use this or I would use my worm castings, but right now it's kind of difficult to get to my worm castings, so let me just use up the leftover of this. There's one right over here. Whoa, this one is already growing. Woohoo! If you guys want to know more about how to grow sweet potatoes, be sure to check out my sweet potato playlist. Hey guys, it's the next day. I'm going to continue planting. I made cuttings of, I believe these are the purple stoke sweet potatoes. Literally just sticking this cutting in here. A little bit of that Biovast Vermicompost. And good luck. Oh, I believe I still got some purple passion sweet potatoes right here somewhere that I'm just gonna grab a cutting of. I'm not 100% sure if this is purple passion, so just in case, I'm just gonna use one cutting. Make sure each of these drain holes would line up with these plants. Now this is ready to go in. Sometimes I find difficulty clipping it on right away because I do fill the soil line very full, like almost to the top. So that center, that draining the reservoir, is actually keeping the planter up. One way to resolve that is to take this out, remove a little bit of the soil, just kind of lower it a little bit. If the planter still does not clip on completely, just fill it up. That weight is going to help push it down. The soil feels really good. It's actually really composted down. I haven't seen any like big chunks in here. It's just really nice. The more fine the compost texture is, the easier it is for the plants to absorb the nutrients. Am I like the first person who ever had to use a ladder to set up a GreenStalk? Whoop. Oh yeah, I'm feeling the bumps. See that? To make this setup very stable, you need to make sure that these would clip onto each of these like so. They all clip into place. Now this top part, I'm saving it for the strawberries. So 3 bags of 1.5 cubic feet soil would be enough to fill up this entire setup. But when SD Microbes sent me those soil, I was so excited. I actually used half that bag for some random spaces in the garden. Usually potting mix for strawberries, I would add something like this to the mix. So this is a fertilizer for growing strawberries. So just adding that to any of your favorite organic potting soil would work. Right now I'm actually running low on that Biovast soil, so I'm just going to do a mixture of that with the Fox Farm. Same thing, I'm going to add some vermiculite in here, a little more perlite to improve drainage, and then a little bit of that berry tone fertilizer. I got 2 kinds of potting soils in there with the perlite, a little bit of rock dust, that's optional as well, and vermiculite. Now I'm adding in the berry tone. There's instructions in the back to tell you how much to use. I usually just eyeball it. There's only a little bit left, so I've got to finish that up. The potting mix for the strawberries do not have to be as well draining as the sweet potatoes. All right, Check out how cool this is. It's a little mushroom next to my strawberry. These are the Alpine pineapple crush. They are so delicious. I just harvested some of this worm castings from my worm bin. Also got some worms in here. I thought it'd be nice to kind of spread them out and make themselves at home. Now for strawberries, you want to plant it, the soil line should be right below the crown. So you don't want to plant too deep. That looks perfect. Okay, a little bit of this vermicompost, just like what I've been doing that whole time. These mushrooms are gonna break. All right, you can compost in here as well. Grab some of my worm castings with some worms. Okay, in they go. Good morning, guys. I got them all planted last night and it just got a little too dark to film. Water reservoir that would go right on top here. See, hole to hole. It just clips into place just like the rest of the planters. Got this done. Now comes the final touch, is optional, but it does help to conserve water, is by mulching. I'm going to be using some garden straws, especially the very top tier, because that's the part that receives the most sun, and the strawberries do really enjoy having some mulch. Time to push it in. Okay, let's add this drain tube in, and the water would be guided out here. And here's my little dish to catch the excess water. I know this is so tiny, but you can pick up a longer tube and guide the tube wherever you want to. Maybe put it in an even bigger bowl or into another planter. That way you're utilizing the water. So I added these plant supports. GreenStalk does come with some really awesome trellis design for this, but it's a bit too big for my space. What you're seeing here is the water reservoir. You're going to be pouring water in here, and it's going to trickle down through those drainage holes, and it's going to water all those tiers. So you have to make sure you water thoroughly until the water drains out of that drain pipe. That's when you know that they all got watered well. And then now also going to just kind of water this area so that the straws get matted a little bit. They won't blow away. So for that garden mulch, this was a brand new bag, and I only used this much of this bag plus a little bit left over from the other bag. So it doesn't take up that much mulch at all to cover this entire setup. You can see spinning is a very important feature for this narrow garden. So it is possible to grow 30 sweet potatoes in this amount of space. It has been done before, but for my space specifically, it is a narrow garden. I think the growth would be compromised a bit because I do have to rotate it, meaning they don't all get full sun all the time. As they reach the bottom, there's a little less light than the ones on top. So the growth of this would be compromised due to the lighting in my space. So let's show you what I got here. The first tier on the top for strawberries, because they need a lot of light. Also, they won't get covered as these things kind of trail down. I got sweet potatoes, just 2 sweet potatoes on this second tier with the marigolds, and then the rest of them, they're just different types of sweet potatoes. Oh, this is a beautiful purple basil. I love this deep purple ruffle. I got purple stokes, started from literally just cuttings. There's no roots in on these cuttings right now, but they will grow into this space. And then the Hawaiian purple sweet potatoes on the bottom tier, because I figured they grow more in like a mounding, a shorter, a compact variety rather than trailing forever. And they're just really close to the ground. As you can see, if they grow all the way out there. There's nowhere for me to walk. Thank you, you guys. Thank you so much for making this far in the video. If you're interested in the GreenStalk garden or soil or anything that I've used in this video, I'll link it down below for you. Like and subscribe to this channel for more content on vertical gardening, small space gardening, stuff like that. And if you're looking for plants and seeds, don't forget to check out my shop. I'll put all that below for you. Thank you, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.